The development. The period immediately after Paulucci had been expelled from Norway was difficult, much more for him than for me. He was suddenly back in Brazil, uprooted from the project he had been working on. I still had the work and my family to focus on. We had some gigs booked, and I managed to hold myself together and adapt to going solo again, although it was hard. I knew he would agree that I kept going rather than get depressed and cancel the gigs. For the past 16 months, I had had the most dedicated partner ever, and now I was alone. Just partner in Pain Solution, that is. As things were going well for Pain Solution, I kept my confidence up and made a new show. My aim was now strictly commercial. I wanted to sell my performance as entertainment and bring it out to a broader audience. I learned new stunts and found new ways of displaying those that I already knew. Small digression on stunts, I don't really call these stunts anymore, because a stunt kind of implies that it is some kind of stunt. I call them acts these days. I'll try and avoid too many of these digressions, but okay. My aim was now strictly commercial. I wanted to sell my performance as entertainment and bring it out to a broader audience. I learned new stunts, and I found new ways of displaying those I already knew. As new customers approached me, wanting me to perform at corporate events and such, I had to adapt to this new market. Soon, I had different shows for different occasions, and suddenly my market was expanding. Pain Solution would appear in newspapers and television shows, and the name became established, leading to more bookings. Sometimes I was busy doing many shows, while other periods were slow. When I was busy, I was happy. When things were slow, I got depressed. During this period, I was also working with Aurin, a theater group Monica and I had started. Aurin presented puppet theater, street theater, and devising theater. Through Aurin, we got to work with a wide range of people, among them Katrina. She approached me and wanted to be part of Pain Solution. Thrilled with the opportunity to have a partner again, a girl this time, I was happy to teach her my skills. She seemed to have the right attitude and urge. In the beginning, we adapted the show that I was already doing. Later, we made a new show together. For a while, things kept going very well. Katrina was a quick learner, and our performance was appreciated. She stated right from the beginning that she had no intention of just being a glamorous assistant. She wanted to present the hardcore stunts. I thought it was wonderful and encouraged her to do some research on her own and come up with acts and stunts she would like to do. As it was, we did some acts together, while she did a few on her own and I did the hardest stunts. We did fine for a while, until we had our first disagreement. I was disappointed with the effort she put into Pain Solution, and she might have felt that I was acting superior to her. Quite possibly. Upon approaching Y2K, year 2000, Pain Solution got a big contract. We were asked to perform a huge fire show on New Year's Eve at the City Hall Square in Oslo. This was the biggest event taking place in Norway for the Millennium celebrations. I needed more people for this job and invited a selection of actors and artists I knew for a workshop audition. During a week, I taught fire skills and acting techniques, after which I chose chose 5 to take part in the Fire Brigade. Altogether, we were 7 people. We worked hard to make our props and rehearse the show for the big event. Paint Solutions' biggest gig ever. It had to be good. Working with a large group of people is a lot harder than if just a few. But we managed to put on a hell of a show. One more photo here of Katrina. Little digression there. Katrina is also my neighbor and lives together with Roberto, previously mentioned in here. Yeah, same building. Good friends. On the big night, there were about 200,000 people in the City Hall Square. It was chaotic. 5 different stages with separate sound systems, drunken people all over the place, fireworks shooting in all directions, and a tight time schedule to follow. We could not afford to be a minute late, as all the entertainment was timed to be followed by the countdown to the new millennium. As it turned out, we stood out as the best act that night. All the competing sounds was a complete mess, but the crowd was disoriented, and all that people could see was the fire happening on our stage. The fire show, I must say. Among those who participated in the Millennium Show was Roberto, and after this gig, he told me he would like to be part of Paint Solution again. And I liked the idea. We could use a third person and some fresh blood. Now the group was Katrina, Roberto, and I. My frustration over Katrina's lack of enthusiasm was replaced with inspiration, as Roberto brought new ideas and seemed eager to carry Paint Solution forwards. He was truly keen on working and took responsibility for costumes and accounts. While making new shows, he was a great partner. We were thinking the same thoughts and supported each other's ideas, which made the progress effective. In this period, Paint Solution got several requests for customized performances. Different companies wanted our participation in their events. They would give me a picture of the context and the setting for the event, and my task was to fit Paint Solutions' visual expression into the big picture and adjust our shows to their theme. Show you another picture here of Hege on stilts with like a burning skirt. This is from the Millennium Show. There's gonna be more from that. Sometimes we would need more people to participate in these performances. Over the time, a large number of actors, jugglers, musicians, and artists have taken part in our productions, both in custom shows and in other pieces we have produced. In year 2000, we made our first Halloween special, which has since become a tradition. This was the first time that Iris got involved with Paint Solution. She was loosely attached to us as a freelance actor and had participated in some of the one-off gigs we had done at corporate events. At the time, we were also privileged to have Captain Frodo, the incredible rubber man, guest starring in our play. Quick picture of Frodo here. Really, really good performer. Frodo is a very good friend and an excellent performer. Unfortunately for me, He now lives in Australia and does not visit Oslo more than once a year, or if even anymore. I have had the pleasure of working with him before. He did 3 shows with me shortly after Paolucci had been expelled from Norway. Roberto, Frodo, and I had great fun while we wrote the script for the Halloween play. I had discovered the necessity of humor in the shows. In the very beginning, we were too serious, and had included comic relief in previous works. However, this was the first time Pain Solution made a comedy show. We based the story on traditional cliches and used music from the 60s and 70s horror movies. Our aim was to combine the hilarious and the hardcore. We requested that the audience dressed up for Halloween and did not allow admittance without a costume. The experience of having the whole audience supporting the play with their themed outfits was thrilling. Pain Solution did well. We produced several performances, appeared on television shows, and we did a large number of gigs. As our name became more known, our audience grew. We presented our work in a wide range of venues and situations, from small clubs to big concerts, in our own venue, at corporate events, and at tattoo conventions. At the same time, conflicts within the group became more frequent, and our disagreements became an obstacle to progress. I wanted the others to make a bigger effort in developing their individual skill, and to take more interest in the work, not only in the shows. Take more interest in the work, not only in the shows, but also in practical work and administration. On the other hand, Roberto and Katrina felt that I did not listen to their ideas and that I took too much control over the group. They questioned my leadership and my intentions. My expectations of them might have been too high. To me, Pain Solution is more than a job. Next to my kids, it is the most important part of my life. In periods, I have even neglected my family because of my work. My starting point is an internal drive to push my limits, and the exploration of pain as a significant part of my persona. To them, Pain Solution was not necessarily that important. When money became an issue and they said they would not do shows for less than a certain amount, I felt we were really setting off in the wrong direction. They would not want to go through the effort of performing a show unless there was a reasonable fee. I would see the payment as a bonus, not the reason to inflict pain upon myself. Nevertheless, we tried to find solutions and kept up with the work, although none of us was completely satisfied with either the situation nor with each other. And here we have a picture of the 3 of us, Katrina in the center, me on this side, Roberto on the other side. Oh, and then there's another picture here of Roberto with hypodermic needles through his forehead. Development continued. In 2001, Pain Solution co-produced a large contemporary circus performance, Ringen, with Haugesund Theater. This was our biggest investment and largest production to date. It seemed we were reaching a peak in our careers. Pain Solution's influence on the play and our performance in it was significant in the overall impression of the spectacle. We learned much from being part of a greater ensemble, consisting of circus artists, actors, dancers, and musicians. We adopted our skills to the story of the play and acted our characters as the evil King Nidad and his warriors. During the process of rehearsing and later touring with Ringen, translates to The Ring, Pain Solution could have grown stronger as a group. We could have found solutions to our conflicts and united in common goals. Unfortunately, we did not. On the contrary, the atmosphere between us grew increasingly tenser. Shortly after the 5-week tour, our problems reached a peak. Roberto, who had a great deal of personal problems at the time, disappointed me by neglecting Pain Solution with his absence. He did not show up to our appointments, not even for gigs. If I had been warned beforehand that he needed some time off, it would have been fine. As he left me to deal with the problem of being short of an actor and unprepared, he made me furious. Pain Solution had a busy period ahead, with several different shows to be performed at various places. We needed to plan, we needed to rehearse, and work out the practical matters involved. Katrina probably tried to find a solution to help me out, but in my opinion, she did not try hard enough. I was such an asshole. Sorry, Robert and Katrina. The development continues. My experience was that her priorities would always be in anything other than our work, except when we were on stage. I found myself to be managing everything and do all the practical work alone, like so many times before. At the same time, Iris was confused and needed to define her role in Pain Solution. She took part in some of our shows, but she was not regarded as a member of the group. Naturally, she wanted to sort that out for herself in order to clarify her position. Because of the situation, I called the 3 of them into a meeting. I was prepared to let them all know how I felt and my thoughts on the future. As for Roberto, I had decided to shut him out of the scheduled shows, and I could not rely on him. It would also give him the opportunity to decide whether he wanted to continue in the group or not. Roberto showed up 1 hour early for the meeting because he wanted to talk to me in private. He told me he wanted to quit, that he was disappointed in me for not being understanding enough in regard to his present situation, and that he could not see a future in further participation in Pain Solution. He was prepared to do his part in the scheduled gigs and to finish his work with the accounts before leaving. I let him know I was already prepared to do the upcoming shows without him, but that I would appreciate him finishing the accounts, which he never did, and that he was free to leave Pain Solution. We chatted for a while, told each other we were sorry for our mistakes, and agreed not to let our work-related conflicts influence our friendship. But sadly, they did. Here's a picture of Roberto. This chapter continues over a few more pages, but I think I'm going to call it right here and continue. Otherwise, this piece is going to be too long. We're up to almost 20 minutes, and I thank you for listening if you are, and I will continue on the development in the next